But next up, we're going to discuss a sector that has been growing at a very fast pace. And now with the advent of AI, things are getting very interesting in this sector. We're talking about BFSI, FinTech, and the kind of opportunities that not just Mumbai, not just Maharashtra, but there are opportunities in all of India given the advent of AI in the BFSI sector. So I have two gentlemen joining me now. Mr. Ashish Chauhan, please give him a big round of applause. And Mr. Dilip Asbe joining us on stage to talk about the latest as far as AI is concerned in the BFSI sector. Mr. Asbe, Mr. Chauhan, thank you so much for being a part of the Mumbai Tech Week. And to all of you here, thank you for sitting so patiently. There is a lot happening in this space now. And we've been talking about how the advent of AI, not just in Mumbai, which is almost on the verge of becoming a use case hub for Asia as far as AI is concerned. But let's start from the start, right? Where are we right now in the progress that AI has made in the BFSI space? Mr. Chauhan.
In a way, AI is there everywhere. Even when I was studying 40 years back, 35 years back, we were calling it fuzzy logic. And then basis that, people started developing algorithms in some other way. But broadly, what is now known as LLM is a new phenomenon. It's kind of creeping into everything, sometimes wrongly, sometimes rightly, like you saw yesterday, news items on the income tax appellate tribunal writing up the judgments which were actually where they cited some cases which did not even exist because LLM ends up making up things. So in our case, what we want is all our ecosystem like you guys to eat our data, work on it and basically place orders and also analyze companies and all. But on our own side, we use AI for, say, prospectus of the companies, how do we analyze, what are we looking for, and it's able to give faster answer. Doesn't mean that we don't have to overlook or we don't have to actually check that out. And similarly for programming, we are basically an IT company in the guise of a stock exchange as NSE. Since we began, we never had a floor, right? We started in India's IT actually. And so all our test programs for our testing our softwares, those kind of things, we now, earlier humans used to write. Now the AI is writing, which is like just now in the first cut itself, we are like 6-7 times faster. Of course, humans have to kind of check the quality of stuff and all. But we are like trying to use it in many ways. There are ways in which I cannot use it, like matching. I do get sometimes 2-3 million orders a second. And I have to give you response time in 100 microseconds. And if you want to buy at 100, I can't say you bought at 100.05 because 5 paisa more, you will not be willing to pay. And LLM might be able to match because that's how it thinks. It's not precise, right? So that's where my core matching, I can't do it, but I do it for risk management. I do it for many other things, including documents, including checking out what's coming on TV. We convert it into text. It searches for all the manipulative stuff, and that is true with YouTube and all sorts of things. So basically in surveillance, in RegTech and supervisory technology, we use it extensively. At the same time, my brokers use it much more effectively because they use it for making money. We use it for basically supervising them or regulating them. So these are the sort of different perspectives on how the same stock market uses in different ways.
Okay, that's interesting. Mr. Asbe, many areas, right? Broad buckets, if you want to call it, are, of course, risk management, there's customer satisfaction, there is fraud detection in which AI is being used currently. But what do you think is the future of AI in the BFSI space?
So, Sonia, I would like to take a little bit rewind on where are we on AI now. So if you look at two technologies. One is the cloud and second is the open source, right? You know, at a high level, which has been, India has taken a really a great leap in these two, using these two technologies. Initially, most of the cloud was outside India. Most of the open source that was built and contributed outside India. India first started to become a user of cloud and open source. Over the period, in both the areas, we have seen now India is one of the biggest cloud markets worldwide, right? So today, who's who of the world has built the cloud in India, and we are the Indian startups and fintechs have been fairly benefited because of this cloud, local cloud setup within India. The second, and you would see the government under Prime Minister Modi and all the state governments are kind of promoting to have a localized cloud setups in various shape and format in those states. Second is open source also. You see a large developmental community is now contributing back to the open source. So now India, from an AI standpoint, as Ashish also was talking about, we are mainly a AI user now, right? So we are using the models which has been built in the West majority of the times, and trying to adapt with our local programmers for variety of use cases, what you look at it. And I think now we are, the way community is now building up, I definitely think that India is at the cusp of the point where we will start open sourcing our models, which will get world benefited from. From an NPCI standpoint, we have a large AI practice in India, and most of the use cases what you spoke about, we are already kind of experimenting, deploying at industrial scale at the system. We have recently started the federated AI now, wherein we build the models for the ecosystem, and you know, the banks and the ecosystem, because NPCI has been set up to kind of create a support ecosystem. Our models would be used by the banks, fintechs, to kind of make a little bit better sense of the data. So I think Mumbai has AI inside it, and NPCI being here, headquartered in Mumbai, for sure, you know, any of the AI experts, we are participating in the job fair as well. So any of the AI experts in the audience, please do not hesitate to reach out to NPCI. You will see some remarkable work. You will contribute to the remarkable work we are doing on AI.
So I want to,
I'll
go ahead.
In our case, our data, especially the regulatory data, which is real time, we get around 2,000 crore orders in a day, 6 hours, 15 minutes, which is like way beyond anything else in the world currently, including Google, Microsoft, whatever you think of. But all our analysis cannot go to public, on a public cloud or ChatGPT. So I have to develop my own on-prem systems. So that's the difference between me and others, that whatever I do is actually owned by me. And for me, we have been using open source. So now also on AI models, we may not have developed our own base models, but neither we developed Pascal or COBOL or C++ or Java, and we became the best users and allowed the world to use them well, right? So for me, in some ways, there are these worries that is told by us that if you don't have the infrastructure models, then you can't do it. It's the other way around, actually. It has now become a commodity. The infrastructure model
Is democratized.
with DeepSeek, it is basically no cost, right?
Correct.
And now, of course, we will develop our own, but the connect, the usage, use cases is where India thrives, and that's where even my market thrives. So for me, my data center requirements have become now so large that my building, which is the first in this campus, I've just met the CM and asked him for some more land.
Wow.
So hopefully he will give me. And so, because I have to now vacate my building for the data center, and I'm shifting out my people into other buildings nearby, so that by the time I get to create my own new building, because the amount of space requirement or the power requirement and the
For
server
data
requirements
centers.
becoming very high.
It's huge. Okay. Mr. Asbe, you know, you are doing a lot of work in this payment space as far as AI is concerned, right? Tell us, where are we at in terms of payments using AI, and what is the future?
So nearly, I can tell you one thing, that, you know, while NPCI does it, which is a no-brainer, you know, every transaction processed, we processed over 1 billion consumer-initiated transactions now on all the payment systems put together. So every transaction we process is actually scored by AI model in a real-time basis. So our fairly efficient models which we have built, and similarly the banks are also doing their bit. So number of times you would see most of the large banks would use the NPCI score and their own score and create a fusion score to take a decision on transaction. We have also worked on some of the money, the mule account scores and some of the different AML-related score, variety of different things to predominantly on the risk side. We are trying to use AI to drive it, and I think it's a fairly well-established practice that most of the financial institutions are using it for the risk management perspective. The second thing also we have done is we have deployed it for the language. We launched the conversational payments, right? The Hello UPI. So we have built the stack now using the Bhashni stack, which was built by IIT Madras and AI for Bharat. And that we have further customized along with some of the open source model such as Whisper, and which has been built by OpenAI. For the language translations, we have gone live about the 4 or 5 languages now, and that kind of work is happening. We are also trying to build a parking use case with a camera instead of they building up the full toll collection infrastructure. So that we are trying to do a variety of things on AI, Sonia.
So there are, of course, a lot of young people here, right, who are attending the job fair and who have come here for 2 days to understand what the future of AI is.
Entrance test is very, very difficult. So I would
The
like to...
entrance test. Okay, but in general, right?
It's also powered by AI.
Okay, so in general, all industries, right, not just BFSI, even consumer, tech, health, everything is changing so rapidly. For somebody who's in this age bracket of say 20 to 25, who is looking to upskill themselves in the area of BFSI, what are the 2 or 3 top things that they should be doing right now?
One is that technology is like riding a tiger. The ride is very uncomfortable, but if you get down, it eats you up. So you have to be really uncomfortable. You have to keep on learning newer things every single day, because the rest of the world is changing so fast that literally all of us got white hair compared to our own age group if we were in IT vis-a-vis non-IT, right? Because of the way the pressure comes in. But then that is the game we are in, right? Nobody told you to sort of come in without your consent. So you come into this, start fighting, start working hard, and keep on gaining wherever you can learn from, because the number of APIs, number of things that are happening across, like today we are collaborating on IPOs, on even secondary market transactions, on everything where if you're paid, you buy the stock, it will be blocked by them, and only when it comes to payment, we will directly collect it from them and stuff like that. Those are the things which are coming in future, but every time you think you have satisfied something, by the time new things would have come, and you have to be ready to work 10 times harder just to stay at the same place.
See, and rightly said, we work with SEBI, NSE, BSE very closely to kind of how now the DPIs that has been built, how they can be leveraged to get, as a country, get better and better. But Sonia, I think you asked very relevant question that, what is that youngster should do, right, in that sense. And I think if the future is technology, that today nobody can say that, without technology they'll be able to deal with the future, to be successful in that sense. Today, and the entry barriers to learn technology are reducing, right? With the last 2 years, the emergence of LLMs, the AI writes better code than human now. So the entry barrier is actually reduced. So it's all about your attitude, all about your ability to change your course, to learn Python, to learn the data science, to get familiar with the AI tools. Because I think what we are saying is today, earlier times, we were expecting the human on its own to have a certain capabilities to deliver the output. I think the game has changed. The game has changed in the last 2 years. Now, every company is looking at human plus AI to deliver the outcome, right? So I think it's much easier, but at the same time, you must change yourself. You must move to some of the new age tools which has been built, which are available free of cost. Use them to get better and better and create a value for the organization.
Okay, so we've actually run out of time, but I have one last question. Because there's so much happening in the BFSI space, and you spoke about how India, by and large, is a user of AI. And, of course, now we are getting into creating our own models, etc. But going forward, what are the top 2 trends that you see in BFSI when it comes to, the adaptation of AI?
AI is like the electricity, right? 100, 120 years back, who would have thought electricity would be used to talk in a louder way, like using microphone, right? And so it's going to come across every part of our life and beyond what we currently think, right? So it'll continue to update itself, but the cycles are becoming faster and faster. So what I say is the technology waves used to come much slower earlier. Even in my life, I mean, we are almost at the verge of retirement. But your life, the technology waves are going to be even faster, probably 10x, 20x. And so whoever is able to just run with it, continue, don't get confused, don't get disheartened, continue to move on, learn, apply, probably that is the way life is going to be in future. And you need to pivot very fast.
Sonia, two trends, it's very difficult to answer like this, but let me try to take a shot at it. One is the emergence of this whole AI last 2 years, the LLMs and the agentic AI and variety of things which we keep talking about, multi-model AI. I think this whole user interface in the financial system is going to change, right? Today, the world has evolved on the app ecosystem like a super app, right? Today, when you look at most of the world, the top 5 apps in the world, those are busy apps. In my assessment from the UI UX standpoint, I think if this whole AI story is going to really deliver the promise which all of us are thinking about, it is going to change the UI. The UIs are going to get, UI UX are going to get much more simpler. It might be, and the future apps will look like just one prompt box and the voice input, the attachment input, and those kind of things. So instead of looking at a very busy scrolling and those kind of things, I think you are going to interact with much neater and cleaner apps in my assessment. The second thing also I feel, today we have used the AI as an adjunct approach, right? Most of the platforms are using the AI outside the platform. So for example, whether it's a fraud use case or variety of use cases which Ashish ji also spoke about, but I think the AI getting embedded inside the platform is going to be the next wave what we are going to look at. So whether you look at UI, the Aadhaar, UPI, or any other DPI which you want to look at, or maybe the stock markets, their trading platforms, instead of AI running alongside, AI will run inside. And I think that will create a great consumer experience change as well.
But the consumer experience has gone up substantially, right? If you look at a plain banking experience, now there is so much
Sonia, I think we have just started. I understand what you're looking at from the past perspective, but I think this whole technology wave is just started, and I think still there is going to be exponential change going to happen.
And okay, there's going to be exponential change. That is interesting. And in this whole process of advancement of technology, where are we at in terms of security or safety, right? Because when you are, say, you are interacting with a chatbot on, say, a banking app, or even on WhatsApp, you have many banks that interact with you through chatbots. How safe is it? Do you think safety or security of data is and will continue to be an issue?
It's a huge issue, and it's going to become even more, because as much as you use it for normal purposes, the crooks are far ahead of us, and they use AI for attacking. So on a daily basis, for example, I get at NSE somewhere between 40 to 100 million attacks, right? So, and it's basically, they have created bots to attack, and they have to be successful only one in 10 years. I have to be successful for all those 100 million attacks every day, right? So those are the things which is going to increase only. It's not going to decrease, because crooks need to find only one single small little play, and then they will move in, right? So that's where, like yesterday, I was in a training with some of the police officers who are being trained, because we do collaborate backside on exchanging information and all. And I said, even your partner, even people sitting next to you will not be able to appreciate the microsecond situations you are working in, or trying to protect the rest of the country in a thing which is not even touchable. You can do crime control by somebody sort of murdering somebody, you catch that person vis-a-vis here. You are trying to prevent things from happening. Nobody is going to appreciate you, but still that is a job which is absolutely important for this country. And it's going to become even more because of the way people are able to give you promises, get your details, use them. My own self, a deep fake was created around 7, 8 months back. And wherever I went, people said, no, we have become part of your WhatsApp group in giving tips. And I said, I never give tips. I'm not supposed to even invest. And that I had to go to court against some of the top social media platforms to remove it within specific times, because it's actually misleading people. And
Very
there are so
harmful.
many other things that are going to happen.
Absolutely.
See, if you look at it, I'm saying fraudsters are going to use AI, and we are going to use AI to defend ourselves, right? So I think the safety and security of the overall system data would depend on who uses the AI better.
Okay. Interesting times, right? But we have run out of time. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Asbe. Thank you, Mr. Chauhan, for sharing the stage with me and talking about the advent of AI and the progress that AI has been making in the BFSI space. Thank you so much.